I looked back across every generation. I examined every bloodline, every era, every person who came before you. I walked through centuries of stories, of callings, of destinies fulfilled and destinies abandoned. And I found no one with what I'm placing in your hands right now. You're one of the very few people on the entire planet who will hear what I'm about to say today. Not because you just happened to click on the right video, but because you were set apart for the unprecedented, and heaven has just confirmed the name of the assignment you've been carrying longer than you realize. Stay until the end, because before this message finishes, you're going to recognize the signs that you were designated for something that has never been walked before. And you're going to receive the exact name of what heaven has just confirmed about you. But before we get there, I need to ask you something. Do you know that moment when you lie down in bed at night and take inventory? The inventory of what still hasn't arrived, what still hasn't clicked into place, what seems to be stuck in a delay that has no reasonable explanation. You lie down and you start counting in silence. The area of your life that still hasn't moved. The project that's still on paper, exactly where it was 6 months ago, a year ago, maybe longer. The direction you feel you should have taken a long time ago, but something always blocks it, always postpones it, always demands more preparation. And the night goes on, and the inventory never balances, because there's always something that seems to be missing. You stare at the ceiling in the dark, and the list never ends. Have you ever stood in a room, in a meeting, in a conversation, and watched the people around you moving forward and wondered what you're doing wrong? It's not envy. It's not bitterness. It's genuine confusion, because the people around you have references. They have models. They have someone who has already walked where they want to walk. And you carry something inside you that no one around you can name, that no one around you can teach, that no one around you looks you in the eye and says, I know exactly what you're feeling. I've been through it too. And you keep moving forward, but with the sensation of walking in a territory where no map has ever been drawn. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. Walking in a territory where no map has ever been drawn. Have you ever tried to explain to someone what you feel coming from inside? You sat down, chose your words carefully, opened your mouth to start, and when the words came out, they seemed too small for what you were trying to describe. The feeling is this: what is inside you is bigger than the vocabulary you have to explain it, and then you stop. You learn to carry it in silence, not because there isn't anyone who cares, but because what is inside you still has no name in the vocabulary of the people around you. And you get used to smiling when someone asks how you're doing, while inside the inventory remains open. And there's a weight that comes with all of this. A weight in your chest that has no precise name. It's not sadness. It's not anxiety. It's not that kind of anguish you can resolve in a conversation or a quick prayer. It's the physical sensation of carrying a task that has no written manual, no example to follow, no one to share the path with, no one to copy a strategy from. A burden that seems too heavy for one person to carry alone, and too small for the world around you to see as real. And you carry it, day after day, without knowing exactly what you're carrying, but knowing you're carrying something. That thing you've been carrying is not a sign that you're lost. It's not a sign that you're behind. It's not a sign that something is missing in you. It's the specific mark of someone who is made for the unprecedented. And the fact that you're still standing carrying this without reference, without external confirmation, without a model to follow, and without a manual to consult, says far more about who you are than you're willing to believe right now. The like is your public amen. Click it now if this word hit the right place in you. Because heaven records what you confess openly. I placed you here because this word is for you. I saw the years you spent looking for someone ahead of you on the path. Someone who had already been where you're going. And I'm going to tell you now why you didn't find that someone. Here's what you're going to receive in this message. First, the absence of reference was never a sign that you were wrong, that you were behind, that you were chasing an illusion. It is the concrete proof that you are on a path that no other person has ever walked before you. What seemed like loneliness, what seemed like isolation, what seemed like distance from others, all of it is the mark of the unprecedented, not of failure. Second, you're going to receive the exact path to take the first step without waiting for permission from someone who has already done it before you, without needing a model, without needing an approved example. There is a protocol for the one who goes first, and you are going to receive that protocol today. Third, before this message ends, you will be able to declare out loud a sentence that has never been yours before. I was designated, and I take the first step now. Not as hope, not as aspiration, as a done deal, as confirmation of something heaven has already decreed. From scarcity of reference to certainty of destiny. From confusion about the path to clarity of the assignment. From waiting for someone to go ahead to understanding that you go first. That's what this message delivers. Now I need you to do something. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is divided, if you're doing something else while you listen, if part of you is here and part of you is somewhere else, thinking about something. Because the next signs are not for your mind to process as information. They are for your spirit to recognize what it already knows but has never had a name for. You recognize these signs. You may not have had a name for them until now. You may have called each of them by the wrong name for years, but you recognize them. Sign 1. You've woken up in the middle of the night with an idea no one taught you. A direction that came in the silence of 3 a.m., 4 a.m., without you having read about it in any book, heard it from any mentor, seen it in any example. An instruction that came without a middleman, clear and specific, in the middle of the silence of a night that seemed like every other. You woke up with a thought that wasn't there when you fell asleep. You called it not being able to sleep right, a restless mind. Nighttime anxiety. But what was happening was your spirit receiving direct instruction, without needing a human middleman to carry it first, without needing a teacher, a mentor, a model. The instruction arrived direct because the middleman who would carry that instruction didn't exist yet. Sign 2. You feel a specific discomfort with ready-made paths. Not with any path, but with those that completely satisfy the people around you and leave you with a feeling that something doesn't fit. It's not rebellion. It's not arrogance. It's not an inability to follow instructions. When someone shows you the method, the step-by-step, the way everyone does it, and that works for everyone, something inside you recognizes that this is not your path. You try to follow. You push yourself to fit the mold, but the tuning doesn't lock in. People around you interpret this as difficulty adapting, as stubbornness, as a lack of humility to learn. What's happening is that you were tuned for a route that doesn't yet exist in any manual anyone has ever written. The tuning is correct. The map just hasn't been drawn yet, because it's being drawn by you. Sign 3. People have said to you, I've never seen anyone do it like that. Not once, but many times. Sometimes with clear admiration, sometimes with genuine bewilderment, sometimes with an expression that mixes both. Not sure if what they're seeing is exceptional or just too different to understand. But they said it, and they keep saying it, because the unprecedented leaks out before you name it. What's inside you escapes outward in the way you solve problems others can't solve, in the way you see situations others see from a single angle, in the way you find exits where others find walls. It's not because you're eccentric. It's not because you're difficult. It's because the assignment you carry is already operating, already working, already producing results before you have full awareness of its name. Sign 4. You don't find a reference or a mirror for what you feel you're supposed to do. You've searched. You've looked at the world around you for someone who is on the same path you feel is yours. You've tried to find the right mentor, the correct example, the model that would confirm that what you carry is real and not an illusion. And you didn't find one. Not because the path doesn't exist, but because the map is being drawn by you, not copied from anyone, not followed from any predecessor, created. And no map that is still being drawn shows up in any search because it doesn't exist anywhere except in you. The next sign is the hardest one to hear. It's the one the enemy spent the most time trying to get you to ignore, trying to convince you is dangerous, is arrogant, shouldn't be taken seriously. Sign 5. You have a silent certainty. It's not loud, it's not euphoric, it's not the kind of conviction you have to defend out loud to keep believing. It's a quiet certainty, sitting at the bottom of everything you do, remaining even on the nights of the inventory, even in the moments when doubt speaks loudest. This certainty says one simple thing. If you don't do it, it will remain undone. Not as anxious pressure that paralyzes you, as the calm recognition of someone who looks at the assignment they carry and knows there is no one else with that name for that task. The enemy spent years trying to make you call this certainty arrogance, presumption, delusions of grandeur, lack of humility, because he knows that if you believe this certainty with serenity, you will move, and the unprecedented happens, and that cannot be allowed. Did you recognize these signs? Write free in the comments if this word came for you. You didn't get here by accident. And there are 2 stories that will help you understand that the path without precedent was never the wrong path. That the absence of a model was never a sign that the calling wasn't real. The first is in the book of Jeremiah. Before he was born, before the first cry, before the first day outside the womb, before anything that could be called a personal history, God had already laid his hand on him. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you came out of the womb, I sanctified you. I appointed you a prophet to the nations. Jeremiah heard that declaration, and the first response that came out was the most human possible. I don't know how to speak. I am too young. I've never done this. No one in my family has done this. There is no precedent in my history for what you are asking. He looked around and found no one in his lineage who had done what was being asked of him. There was no model. There was no predecessor. There was no one ahead on the path waving and saying, "Come, it's this way. I already know how it works." The task was bigger than any reference he could find in his life, in his family, in his generation, and that was exactly what confirmed the designation. Because when the calling is unprecedented, when the assignment was written with a specific measure, the absence of a model is not an obstacle nor a sign of impossibility. It is the signature of someone set apart to open the path, not to follow an existing one. Jeremiah was sent to speak what no one in his lineage had said before, to carry a word that the world of his time was not prepared to receive easily. He made enemies. He suffered rejection from those close to him. He had moments when he wanted to give up and asked to be released from the assignment, but the word was real, and the assignment was his. And when he finally accepted walking in the unprecedented, without precedent, without model, without someone ahead, what he carried changed an entire generation. The second story is not in the Bible, but you will recognize its truth immediately. Imagine a key, forged with absolute precision, every cut made to an exact measurement that was not copied from any other existing key. You pick up this key and try it in the first lock you find. It doesn't open. Try it in the second. Doesn't open. You go through every lock you know. Everyone you find along the way, everyone the people around you suggest you try. None opens. And it starts to seem obvious that the key is wrong, that it was forged with a defect, that there's some manufacturing error explaining why it's useless. But the problem is not the key. The key is perfect. The problem is that the locks you tried were not made for it. There is one lock in the entire world that was made for this exact key. One specific door. And no other key will ever open that door. Only this one, which seemed useless and defective because it couldn't open any of the others. You have no one to compare yourself to because you were forged for a lock that no one before you needed to open. The unprecedented is not a manufacturing defect. It is absolute specificity of destiny. Write Jeremiah in the comments if you've ever felt called to something without having anyone to look up to, without precedent to follow, without a model to compare. Let me stop for a full minute. Before I reveal what I'm about to tell you now, I need you to hear 3 facts. Facts, not interpretations. Facts you already know but have probably never been organized this way. You have always felt you carried a task without a manual. That is a fact. Not an impression, not a passing feeling. A fact verifiable by your history. The lack of reference made you doubt yourself repeatedly when it was the clearest sign that you are on an unprecedented path. Also a fact. The doubt didn't come because the calling wasn't real. It came because the absence of precedent is the natural environment of the pioneer, and no one taught you to inhabit that environment with confidence. The signs you recognize today did not arrive from outside as new information. They were already inside you. You simply received the name for what you already knew but had no words to say. And you made it here because you were led to recognize your assignment. Not by coincidence, not by algorithm, not by chance. What you are about to hear is not a human title. It's not what other people call you. It's not what you would put on a resume. It's not what you would say in a presentation. It's what I call you when I speak to heaven about you. The name that was given before any other word existed about your life. Now you will hear it. You are the designated one, not the chosen one among equivalent options. The designated one, the one for whom the assignment was written, not the one selected by elimination. I saw you trying to fit into paths that were not made for you. I saw the effort to fit where everyone else fit. I saw the silent frustration when the mold didn't work, when the path that worked for others left you with that feeling that something is wrong, but you couldn't name what. I saw every attempt, every effort, every moment you thought the problem was you, that something was missing in you, that you needed to adjust better, adapt more, fit in somehow. I saw it, and I can tell you now with clarity, the mold didn't fit because it wasn't made for you. You are the mold that didn't exist yet. What you were looking for to follow, other people will look for in you. Stop looking for the model you haven't found yet. You are the model that didn't exist yet. You are the unprecedented one, not the different one, not the eccentric one, the unprecedented one, the one who carries a direction that has no prior history at all. I saw you carrying an instruction that no one around you could confirm or teach. The direction that came from within, without anyone placing it there. The clarity about certain things that appeared in the silence without you having asked for it. I saw it. And I placed that instruction inside you because there was no human middleman to carry it first. Not because the human middleman failed, because the instruction was created to go direct, without passing through human hands before yours. You don't need to wait for someone to validate what I have already validated. Start trusting the instruction that arrives direct, without waiting for someone who has already done it before to confirm that you can. You are the first of the line. Not just the first in your family to do something different. The first of the line. The one whose step opens passage for all who come after. I saw what is in you, not just what you will do. What will be opened through you? What will become possible after you walk? What is in you is not just your destiny. It is the doorway of a lineage that does not yet have a full name. What you take the first step to do will create passage for people you don't yet know, for children not yet born, for a generation that will wonder how it was possible that no one had done that before. And the answer will be that no one had what you have. You go first, but you will not be alone forever. Those who come after you have already been paid for by the cost you are paying today by walking without precedent. Write in the comments the name of the identity that came closest to what you feel is true about you. Designated one, unprecedented one, or first of the line. Write the name, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, subscribe now, because what comes in the next videos continues and deepens what was opened here. Now you are going to receive the protocol. Its name is the first step without a map. This protocol is not for those who already feel completely ready, confident, and without doubt. It is for those who recognize the assignment they carry and are about to take the first step on a path where there is no one ahead. Whoever goes first never feels 100% ready. Whoever goes first learns to walk before seeing the complete path. Step 1. Write in a single sentence the task you feel is yours alone. The one you have never found anyone to copy. The one that keeps coming back no matter how many times you push it aside. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It doesn't have to be polished. It doesn't have to be an elegant mission statement. One sentence. Raw and true. The task that when you think about it, you feel that if you don't do it, it will remain undone. Write that sentence today before you sleep. On paper, if possible. The hand that writes the assignment begins to make it real. Step 2. Today, before this night ends, take the smallest possible step within that task. Not the best step. Not the most impressive step. Not the step that will convince someone that you are taking this seriously. The smallest, the simplest. The one you can take today, now, before you feel completely ready, without waiting for validation from any person. The assignment doesn't begin when you feel prepared. The assignment begins when you move. The first step doesn't need to be big. It needs to be real. Step 3. For 3 consecutive days, write down every direction that comes seemingly from nowhere about this path. The thought that arrives in the middle of a shower and seems too specific to be random. The idea you wake up with at 6 in the morning without having gone to sleep with it. The connection between 2 things that happen on the same day and that you would normally dismiss as coincidence. Don't dismiss any of them. Don't analyze whether it makes sense before writing it down. Write. Because you are learning to read the language of instruction that arrives direct, and the first step to learning any language is to stop ignoring the words. The sign that the protocol is working is not euphoria, not growing excitement, not the feeling that everything is going to work out now. It is a firm stillness in the chest. The specific peace of someone who stopped looking for the example that will never appear and started walking. The silent sensation that you are exactly where you should be, doing exactly what you were made to do. Write received in the comments if you are receiving this protocol. In the next 72 hours, 3 things will be thrown against you. Not as a possibility that maybe they will happen, as a certainty that they will happen. The enemy does not ignore someone who receives confirmation. He responds, the first tactic. If no one has done it, it's because it can't be done. This tactic arrives dressed in collective caution. It will sound like wisdom from someone who has seen many people try and fail. It will seem like you are being protected from an expensive and painful illusion. It will use the absence of precedent, which you just understood to be the signature of the unprecedented, and turn it into evidence of impossibility. The argument will be presented by well-intentioned people, sometimes by people who love you, sometimes by your own memory of the moments you tried and didn't get where you hoped. Recognize the tactic. Name it. This is tactic 1, and don't swallow it. The second tactic. Who do you think you are to be the first? This one arrives disguised as humility. It is the most dangerous of the three because it will use your own awareness of your limitations as a weapon. It will present the assignment you received today as arrogance disguised as spirituality, as the presumption of someone who thought they were too special, as a symptom of someone who doesn't have their feet on the ground, and it will suggest that the mature posture would be to wait, observe, learn a little more, stay in line with those who haven't yet been called to go ahead. True humility recognizes the assignment and moves forward with it. False humility uses the assignment as an excuse to remain motionless and calls it discretion. The third tactic: wait for someone else to do it first so you can see how it's done. This one is the most lethal of the three precisely because it seems the most reasonable. It seems like genuine caution from someone who has been burned by premature enthusiasm. It seems like advice from someone who learned from expensive mistakes. It will convince you to delay the first step until you have a model to follow, an example to confirm the path exists. And if you wait for that, you will wait forever. Because the path that was written with your measure, with the exact measure that you and no one else has, will never have someone ahead. This tactic has a single real goal: to bury pioneering and delay that seems both eternal and sensible at the same time. And there is an internal enemy that is harder to recognize than the three external ones. Your own voice, using your language, with your logic, saying, "If it were really for me, I would have seen someone else do it first. If it were real, there would be precedent. If I were truly designated for this, someone before me would have come close." This voice doesn't come from outside. It is born inside. It sounds exactly like spiritual maturity. It sounds like discernment, but it is exactly the argument that the title of this message demolishes. No one has done this before you because it was written for you. The unprecedented has no sample, no pilot, no prior test that confirms viability before the first real step. Write "protected" in the comments. The decree has been sealed over what was delivered here. Now put your hand on your chest. Close your eyes. Plant both feet firmly on the ground. Take a deep breath once. Hold for a second. Release. You are going to release 3 burdens now. Not tomorrow when you feel stronger. Not after a time of prayer to prepare. Now, in this moment, while this message is still active inside you. Release the fear of going first with no one ahead. This fear had a function. It served to protect you in a time when you didn't know the name of what you carried, in a time when walking without precedent seemed synonymous with being wrong. That time is over. You know the name now. The fear can go. Release the shame of not having an example to show when someone asks you to explain where you are going. The absence of an example was never your weakness, never proof that the assignment wasn't real. It was the signature of the unprecedented. You owed no explanation to anyone who asked for a model where no model existed. Release the doubt that you were truly designated. This doubt has worked against you long enough. It had chances to prove itself true and couldn't, because the assignment kept coming back no matter how many times you tried to discard it. Heaven has confirmed. The doubt can go. Now here, I saw those nights. The nights when you lay down and took inventory of what still hadn't arrived. The nights when you counted in silence everything that seemed delayed without explanation. Everything that still hadn't moved. Everything that seemed to be demanding something from you that you didn't yet know how to give. I was in those nights. Not as an observer waiting for you to finish the inventory. I was there with you. And what you called delay, what you called a list that doesn't balance, what you interpreted as evidence that something was wrong, I called preparation. I saw the assignment being formed. I saw the precision being cut into the teeth of the key that would only open one door. And none of those nights was wasted. And I saw the weight. The nameless weight you carried in your chest. The one that was neither sadness nor anxiety, but wouldn't leave because it wasn't a passing feeling. It was the assignment. It was the physical weight of an unprecedented task becoming real inside you before you had shoulders trained to recognize it by name. I didn't remove that weight before you were ready to understand what it was, because removing the weight before the time would be removing the assignment before the time. You were not alone in the weight. I carried it with you. You were not behind on those nights. You were being prepared to go first on a path that no one before had ever walked. No one before you was designated for this. Not because previous generations failed, not because others weren't called to other equally real things, but because this specific mission was written with your measure, and the measure was created after you, not before. There was no precedent because the precedent is you. The lock was manufactured after the key, and now the door exists. I separate you now from the confusion of those who thought they were lost when they were simply ahead of the available map, from the pressure of those who waited for a model where the model had not yet been created, from the voice that used humility as a chain to keep you motionless while convincing you that immobility was virtue. I cover your mind. The thoughts that will arrive in the next 72 hours to make you doubt what was delivered here. Every argument that the assignment is not real, that you deluded yourself, that the message was emotionally convincing, but not true. None of these thoughts have more authority than what has been confirmed now. I cover your relationships. The people close to you who will not understand what you carry, who will ask for an explanation where there is no precedent to explain, who will interpret the first step you take as recklessness. May the peace you receive here be more solid than the need to have approval before walking. I cover your timing. The next step you take will not wait for you to feel completely ready, because the first step without a map never begins with a feeling of total preparation. It will wait for you to move. And when you move, the path will appear under your feet, not before them. I cover the unprecedented that is in you. The assignment that still has no name in the vocabularies of the people around you, but has a clear name in heaven. It is kept. It is protected. It is confirmed by what was delivered here today. It is done. What was delivered here has been delivered. Say it out loud now. I was designated, and I take the first step now. Say it again, with both feet on the ground and your hand on your chest, with your eyes closed if you can. I was designated, and I take the first step now. Now write "done" in the comments if you made it this far and recognized the assignment, if you received the identities and the protocol, if the voice of the Father reached the right place inside you. Write "done" in the comments now. And there is a specific person in your life who also carries something that no one around them fully understands, who also feels the weight of a task without a manual, who also took the nightly inventory without being able to balance the list. You know their name. Send this video to them now with a simple message. Watch this. It's for you. The next video continues from where this one stopped. Because the designated one, the unprecedented one, and the first of the line do not receive the assignment one day and then stay still. They learn to walk in the unprecedented. One step at a time, without precedent, without model, with the silent certainty of those who have been confirmed by heaven. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.